Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, June 20th, 2024. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment has recorded a total of 16 dengue fever cases for the period January to June 2024, one more case than the total number of cases reported for 2023. In a news release today, the Ministry of Health says, while the number of cases has not exceeded the threshold required to indicate an outbreak, it is encouraging persons to take all necessary precautions to protect themselves and those at risk from severe dengue fever. Persons at risk of experiencing severe symptoms of dengue fever are children, pregnant women, the elderly, and persons with pre-existing conditions, such as diabetes and hypertension. According to the ministry, most of the recorded dengue cases are children and adolescents in the age range of 5 to 19 years old. It says cases are seen across all health districts, but predominantly within the Kingstown Health District. Noting that there has been one case of severe dengue fever, the ministry makes it clear that there have been no reported deaths due to dengue to date in SVG. Dengue fever is a mosquito-borne illness that is caused by the bite of an Aedes aegypti mosquito, which is carrying the virus that causes dengue. This mosquito can also carry the Zika and chikungunya viruses. The Aedes aegypti mosquito is most active during the daytime, so that transmission through the mosquito's bites would typically take place where persons are during the daytime hours. Persons are encouraged to seek care early from their healthcare provider if they are experiencing symptoms of dengue fever, which include vomiting, skin rash, headaches, swollen glands, and body aches. The ministry is reminding the public that the best protection against dengue and other mosquito-borne diseases is to reduce breeding of mosquitoes by keeping your surroundings clean and clear of possible breeding sites. It says the Environmental Health Department has intensified fogging in areas identified as being associated with these cases. The Agriculture Alliance of the Caribbean, ICARI, has put forward 9 recommendations for farmers across the region, including those in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to deal with issues affecting them, including that of predial larceny and irrigation. ICARI's president, Errington Thompson, detailed the plan at the launch of Caribbean Week of Agriculture earlier this week. President Thompson emphasized the importance of creating specific laws to address predial larceny. He also listed other key recommendations that he hopes governments will urgently implement.
Countries, predial larceny is a major reason why farmers are unable to make ends meet. We must pass specific laws to apprehend and punish perpetrators. 4, we must develop a system to assist farmers with their water needs and irrigation methods. These would allow farmers to improve their yield and income. 5, there is a need to strengthen the supply chain. 6, there is a need to strengthen the value addition chain. 7, there must be a sharing of best practices across the region. 8, we must move with haste to develop two-way inter-island trade. 9, we must establish model farms with training facilities to build capacity in the circle economy. The time to solve our problem is now. This time must be our clarion call for commitment to action.
Another urgent call for action focuses on providing financial support for farmers who are facing the harsh impacts of climate change, as well as improving data collection.
Improve our data collection and establish baselines for every aspect of food production and agriculture. 2, many farmers are struggling and in need of support, financial and otherwise. Many have suffered devastating losses from hurricanes, rising sea levels, drought, and intense forest fires. We are motivated to embark on this tree planting initiative to build capacity in food production in response to our personal circumstances and to help with the CARICOM's mandate to reduce food imports by 25% by 2025. We are convinced that our efforts must be sustainable because our region is committed to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. 2030 is less than 6 years away.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines will host this year's Caribbean Week of Agriculture in October. Dr. Thompson is hopeful that by the time stakeholders meet, some of the recommendations will have been implemented. The three-day training workshop on production and management of disease-free sweet potato planting material held at the Orange Hill Agriculture Biotechnology Center training room concluded yesterday. The training is part of the Regional Sweet Potato Value Chain Enhancement and Technology Transfer Project undertaken by the Caribbean Agriculture Research and Development Institute, CARDI, and funded by the Caribbean Development Bank, the CDB. A total of 21 participants from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Antigua, Barbados, Guyana, Belize, Cayman Islands, and Grenada participated in the training. Addressing the closing ceremony, Project Coordinator Reginald Andel thanked the CDB for funding the project. He expressed hope that the CDB would support a new project to build on the achievements of the Regional Sweet Potato Value Chain Enhancement and Technology Transfer Project.
We have had 3 days of learning, especially in the area of tissue culture and nursery management, which we know as participants can use to improve the production of sweet potato in their countries and also for export of sweet potato. St. Vincent and the Grenadines stands alone in the OECS countries as the leader in sweet potato production and export. And it's also very significant that they have the only lab, tissue culture lab, in the OECS producing sweet potato planting material. But not only sweet potato, but a wide range of other crops like pineapple, dasheen, tanya, hot peppers, and now they are collaborating with the new side of an old industry, cannabis. So St. Vincent and the Grenadines really have been making some good marks. They have been hitting the century. While West Indies cricket hitting the 10s and the 20s, St. Vincent and the Grenadines been hitting the century and the double century in agricultural development.
Andel said they are looking forward with having SVG partnering with CARDI, the UWI, the CDB to heighten production of sweet potato and other crops, not only for local consumption and export of raw crops, but also for value-added products. Dr. Oral Daly, lead of Component 2 of the project from the Department of Food Production, Faculty of Food and Agriculture at UWI, St. Augustine Campus, noted the importance of collaboration during the training workshop.
And I am standing strong behind that argument of collaboration because more is needed. I think from our interaction over the last 3 days and where we see gaps in the sweet potato value chain and the need to expand in certain areas, we recognize that we can't do this by ourselves. We have to collaborate, right? We have a tisciculture lab here in St. Vincent, but there are other countries in the region do not have tisciculture labs. Does that mean that they should not have access to clean planting material? That cannot be the case. So we have to collaborate, we have to find meaningful ways to work together so that we are not all in a term that I recently heard, we are not all spinning top in mud. You know, we can make a more concerted effort to achieve our goal. And the goal, of course, is sustainability in the region. We talk about food production, we talk about food security, and we also must talk about food resilience. Because not only do we want to secure food, we also want to ensure that when our region undergoes certain challenges, that we're resilient enough to bounce back. And so training like what we have here over the last 3 days in production of clean planting material and so on. And, you know, suffice to mention that one of the benefits I mentioned about sweet potato is the fact that it is a resilient crop in the face of hurricanes and so on, and I stand by that. And I'm saying that we have to continue to collaborate. We have to find meaningful ways to work together so that we can continue to build the region and so that we can all go far together. Because individually we may go fast, but together we can go much further.
In his address at the closing ceremony, Minister of Agriculture Sabota Caesar said the initiative helps advance the cause of a borderless CARICOM region regarding food and nutrition security.
The revised Treaty of Chaguaramas that governs CARICOM speaks specifically to the role of the agriculture sector, the role of trade and the role of trade of food. But we are now coming of age where we're seeing through the very important institution of CARDI the very fluid movement of human resource capacity across our member states. And I really want to congratulate CARDI for the excellent work that you are doing in our region. If we see CARICOM as a household, CARDI is a provider of the food. I want to repeat that. If you look at CARICOM, all the member states, as a family, it is the role of CARDI through research and development to ensure that food is always affordable, available, and accessible. And I really want for us not only to come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines because there is this program, but to ensure that you exchange your numbers and you make the necessary arrangements through CARDI so that we can be in touch. I would like for St. Vincent and the Grenadines to send a delegation very soon to Grenada so that we can do more work with the soursop production that you have there. And also to study the value chain in cocoa and nutmegs. And I want to thank the government and people of Grenada for the assistance that they have provided to us. And please convey to the farmers there that we are indeed grateful for the support.
The St. Vincent and the Grenadines National Trust manages many historical sites, including forts, Fort Duvenet being one of them. Recently, the management reminded the public that it is illegal to visit the site without permission from the SVG National Trust. Manager Laverne Bentic Phillips noted that SVG inherited the site from colonial masters and emphasized the importance of protecting and preserving it. She stated that the fort is a significant part of the nation's history and cultural heritage, serving as a reminder of the colonial past and the need for ongoing conservation efforts.
Fort Duvenet, as I say, I really shouldn't say much because it's a familiar site to many of you. It's located right behind Young Island, about 50 yards in distance, and it is a heritage site conveyed to the National Trust in 1971. It carries some 255 steps that takes you to the top of the site, where you get that beautiful 360 view of the windward side, Villa area, and it's where you're going to see cannons and mortars in their original state.
2 months ago, on April 18th, SVG observed World Heritage Day under the theme, Discover and Experience Diversity. The administrative assistant of the SVG National Trust highlighted the significance of the fort, noting that it serves as a stark reminder of the colonial past.
Fort Duvenet was actually constructed because of a war, which would have been the Second Carib War between the British and the Garifuna people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So due to this war, some of the cannons are actually pointed inland because the Garifuna was fighting against the British occupation in St. Vincent, but they were actually defeated after 300 years. Some of them were exiled and some actually escaped into the hills of Greggs. So that's why it was actually constructed.
Fort Juvenet is also part of the South Coast Marine Conservation Area. Earlier this month, for World Environment Day, a major cleanup was conducted at the site, during which volunteers removed loads of garbage. The SVG National Trust continues to urge the public to respect and help preserve these historical sites for future generations. The opposition New Democratic Party is calling on the government to put measures in place to stem the tide of homicides in the country. In a news release, the party says the 3 recent killings are a stark reminder of the government's incompetence in combating crime. 3 homicides have been recorded this week. On Sunday, 16 June 2024, Zeno Lee was shot and killed in Murray's Village on Tuesday. The 18th June, the body of Gary Glasgow was found on the premises of the School for Children with Special Needs. And on Wednesday, 19th June, the body of Dwayne Jacobs was found with gunshot wounds by the riverside in the village of Paulover. These killings bring the number of homicides for the year thus far to 21. In 2023, 55 homicides were recorded. The NDP says it continues to recommend the following: provide more resources for police to directly tackle crime, have closer collaboration with international law enforcement to cut the supply of weapons into the country, enhance our customs checks and create an intelligence-led approach to stop guns entering the country, and more work programs in place to take people off the street and into productive work. The party says the Prime Minister should transfer the role of Minister of National Security to a minister dedicated primarily to security. The NDP further states that they are committed to working with all stakeholders to combat crime in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The 3 Grenadian prisoners who were captured in St. Vincent after escaping custody in their homeland have been implicated in the killings of an American couple on their yacht, which they used to travel to St. Vincent. They have been formally indicted and will stand trial in the High Court in Grenada on a series of severe charges. We hear more in this report from GBN Television.
The trio was committed to stand trial on charges including escaping lawful custody, housebreaking, rape, and 2 counts of capital murder. This decision was made during a session at the St. George's No. 1 Magistrates Court on Tuesday, presided over by Chief Magistrate Francine Foster. Attorney Jerry Edwin, representing the 3 men, agreed to transfer the matter to the High Court through a paper committal process. This method bypasses a preliminary inquiry, allowing the magistrate to review the charges and evidence to determine if there is sufficient basis for a High Court trial. Edwin emphasized that prolonging the case in the lower court would be unnecessary and could delay proceedings for years. Already in trouble with the law, Mitchell, Stanislaus, and Robertson's legal troubles escalated after they escaped from the South St. George police station on February 18. While on the run, they allegedly hijacked a catamaran named Simplicity, owned by American couple Ralph Hendry, 66, and Kathy Brandel, 71, who have since been presumed dead. Authorities suspect that the couple may have been killed and thrown overboard during the fugitives' journey to neighboring St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where they were captured 15 days later and returned to Grenada. Their daring escape occurred just before their scheduled appearance in a St. George's Magistrates Court on charges of robbery with violence and rape. Since their recapture, Attorney Edwin has confirmed that the men have pleaded guilty to the summary offenses committed prior to their escape and are now awaiting sentencing in the Magistrates Court.
The Carnival Development Corporation, CDC, has announced a 30% increase across the board for the prize monies of the various competitions in Vincy Mass 2024. The announcement was made at a news conference today by Ricardo Adams, chairman of the CDC, who welcomed the increase, noting that it was long overdue. The last prize increase was 12 years ago in 2012. The prize increase means that the winner of the National Soca Monarch competition will now receive $60,000 EC dollars instead of $25,000.
For the Soca Monarch. Now, what we did previously was $25,000 and a vehicle to the tune of like a Swift or something along those lines. what we've done is we recognize that there are a number of people who perhaps would prefer a straight-up cash prize, and so the cash prize this year for the first place is $60,000. The second place moves to $30,000. The third place, $15,000. The fourth place, $10,000. In the Calypso Monarch segment of things, again, we've addressed, so they've moved from 94,000 to 123,000.
Noting that Vincy Mass is alive and well, selling itself as a high-energy festival, Adams said ticket price adjustments will be implemented not only for individuals but also for crews supporting the competitors in the various competitions hosted by the CDC.
Say that Soca Monarch tickets will be going on sale tomorrow morning at the early bird rate of $40 EC, and we're also doing what we call a crew package, where we have said to entities that come to the park in crews, because a lot of the soca artists have their crews that follow them. We're going to make special packages available for the crews, and the price for the cruise package is $30. And manager, remind me how many people? 20 people. So if you can get a crew of 20 people together, you can come and get your early bird cruise Soca Monarch package at $30 per ticket. And the regular early bird, or as it is now called in the entertainment industry, tier 1 tickets are now available at $40. We also have the majority of the other tickets which will also go on sale from tomorrow morning.
Adams also announced that the Road March competition this year will benefit from an increase, including a monetary award for the second place.
Place where it is, but we'll take that additional price increase and now add a second place, because I think last year there was a lot of consternation that there was only a first place for Road March and not a second place. So our people in the music side of things hopefully would be happy with that. In Panorama, the Panorama has moved from 117,000, and that includes Junior Panorama. It's moved from 117,000 to 173,000, which is a $55,000 roughly increase.
Total increase in prize monies for Vincy Mass 2024 is estimated at $300,000 EC dollars. On the twinning of the ICC T20 Men's World Cup matches and the National Festival Vincy Mass under the slogan Runs and Rhythms, CDC Chairman Ricardo Adams said the Arnesville Stadium has been one of the most exciting venues for integrating Carnival and cricket. With activities for Vincy Mass set to take full effect soon, Adams announced that street bars will commence operations from this weekend.
It is the venue where whenever the camera pans, you can see the pitchy patchy, the rhythm section, there's the steel pan at the entrance, there are carnival costumes on display, etc. So we at the local LOC committee coined the term Runs and Rhythm. And
Adams also listed 3 individuals who will be honored for their dedication to the Vincy Mass culture throughout the 2024 Carnival season.
We'll be honoring this year are Mr. Dennis Ambrose, who's been a long-standing member of CDC, who was chairman, who was technical for a long time. And we're going to be doing the honoring not just at a single show this year, but we'll be doing the honoring of these honorees over the period of Carnival. So over time, you will get a lot more information on them. I don't know how many people in here know a gentleman by the name of Fitzgerald King, who's been closely associated with Vincy Mass. For those of you who've been coming to the Victoria Park since I was a child, I've been coming to the Victoria Park. If he wasn't in between the bars at goal, he was in between the bars helping to assist with the CDC's operation, etc. And he still continues to assist us to this day. So we thought, based on the recommendation, that it was fitting that we honor him, because sometimes we tend to want to honor the people who are in the limelight. But there are a lot of people in the background who support and who give a lot of hours and a lot of passionate support, and who stand and defend our culture significantly. And so we're going to also be honoring John Hines.
Additionally, the CDC chairman announced that a special guest on a delegation from the region will be coming for Vincy Mass this year.
The highlights of the Panorama Steel and Glitter show this year is going to be the presence of the president of Pan Trinbago. And a lot of people may not know, but earlier this year, last Trinidad Carnival, there was a delegation from the Yulupan movement that went to Trinidad. I think Rodney was a guest commentator on the Panorama in Trinidad. And through that relationship, the president of Pan Trinbago indicated that she liked the vibe that was coming out of St. Vincent. She liked the direction that Pan was going in. And she is going to be bringing a delegation with her as a guest of the Yulupan movement. And she will be here for the Steel and Glitter. Apart from the president of Pan Trinbago and her delegation, we're also going to have the president of the Antigua Steel Pan organization.
Meanwhile, Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture, Carlos James, says he is pleased with the increase in prize monies for Vincy Mass 2024. Minister James emphasized that an investment must be made to create a legacy for the next generation.
We have to leave a legacy where the next generation can see the platform that has been set and laid by all those who came before them. And part of that is making that investment in our art form. Because without the government's approval to this, we would not have been here this morning. I've asked them. We did the work. The CDC, the components, the presidents did the work, worked with CDC, put together the proposals. And I want to thank everyone for their support. That in this year, in over a decade, we're now seeing an increase in prize monies across all components for Vincy Mass, starting 2024. And I'm pleased to have led this charge and advocated as Minister of Culture to advocate on behalf of all of our components, to advocate on behalf of the CDC and work with the CDC to ensure that we provide the necessary support to our mass men, calypsonians, artists, and persons who are involved in the panists and those who are involved in the creative industry.
Furthermore, Minister James expressed that it is important to protect the legacy of everyone involved in culture, as their contributions cannot be measured in dollars and cents.
Because what they bring to our holistic development as a people, as a nation, you can't measure that in dollars and cents. But the least we can do is provide the support to them, the infrastructure, the resources that they need. That's why when we open downstairs the store, the Carnival store, and I'm hoping the mass tents are buying the fabric from downstairs, you know. So you don't have to go on a plane and go to Trinidad. We open a Carnival store, the CDC open a Carnival store for you to come and purchase your fabric and other things here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.